it's Tish here. I want to welcome you back to the 28 Days of Play. I've been having so much fun, and my voice is finally recovering a little bit from my cold, but still a little squeaky over here. I just wanted to pop in and do the video a little bit differently today. And I also wanted to take an opportunity to look at our accomplishments that we've made so far this month. We are on day 16, and so I wanted to do a little sketchbook flip through of the first 15 days that we have worked through so far. So we can be so proud of ourselves and pat ourselves on the back. So let me put our prompts over here so I can marry them together. So day 1 was to begin without a plan and let your color choose you. So that's exactly what we did here. We just kind of went with colors that felt like it was just something we were really craving and something that made us happy and brought us joy, and then we followed that. On day 2, now my pages are a little bit out of order, so on day 2 we painted a flower from memory and not from reference, and so this was actually my day 2 sketch. This was a lovely little sketch and a memory that was kind of nice to just sit and reflect on during that time of when I had put together the floral arrangements for my stepdad's celebration of life. And it was just a nice way to remember just how fun and wonderful and sweet he was and how much he loved to garden. So that's what this little piece was right here. Day 3 was let your brush wander like it's curious. And this piece, if I remember correctly, did take a lot of wandering turns. But eventually we got there, and that's okay, because the beautiful thing about paint is that you can just keep layering and layering until you find something that really makes you feel happy. I tell a lot of my students that sometimes painting is like developing that muscle of perseverance, that oftentimes we want to give up too early, or we want to look at it and go, oh, this is a mess. But we fail to see the potential that is there if we just stay patient and encouraging to the painting as well as to ourselves. So we will get there. And then on day 4, we had this little beauty. Choose one color you love and let it lead. And for me, that color was magenta. I don't know. I know I'm a girl and I'm not supposed to just love pink, and I don't wear, well, here I am wearing like essentially the same color. But I'm not necessarily a girly girl, I have to say, but I do love me some pink. So this was a really fun watercolor to do, and just letting the paint just be, not overworking it, and just having a lot of fun, adding some little finishing touches of mixed media. On day 5 was make marks just for you for the joy of making marks. And that's exactly where this piece led. I was just kind of making some dots of colors and felt like it was just turning into a field of tulips. And so that's exactly where this piece came to life. Now I'm going to flip ahead to page 6, which was this piece, if you remember. And the prompt was to paint slowly, pause often, and give thanks. And so this whole piece was built upon gratitude and writing down all the many things that we are grateful for. And I can't tell you how restorative this piece was to my spirit to work through that process, because we've been going through a rough couple of weeks here, just transitioning my husband's mom to memory care. And it's really taken a toll on our hearts and just made us a little sad. And so this piece was just really wonderful to be able to count our blessings and then just kind of know that we're being held, and that was a really beautiful thing. So day 7 was to follow what feels light today. And honestly, I was looking for something that was going to just add a little simplicity to my very overscheduled life. And so I just did a simple line drawing and then added some watercolor to it. And that felt just right to me that day. All right, let's flip forward to if a color was cozy. And that is this piece right here. It's funny because my daughter was sitting in the studio watching me paint that day. And I said to her, well, I had kind of in my head what I thought a cozy color would be. And so I said, well, what would your cozy color be? And she said a grayish purple gray. And it was exactly what I had in my head too. And so I don't know if it's that she's my daughter or what that is, but she definitely came from me. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, grayish, purplish, grayish is our cozy color for that day. So we let that be the dominant color of the painting. Day 9, I'm going to flip ahead, was this one. Let two colors meet and mix. And this was really just about using different forms of wet on wet technique, dry technique, glazing technique with watercolor to see what we could come up with. And I think it was pretty fabulous, honestly. I love the energy that is happening here. Okay, let's look at prompt 10, day 10. Paint a flower that feels warm. And for me, this one was definitely like, I just wanted those tropical colors. I wanted to remember a trip to Mexico we took recently. I wanted to just transport myself there in my mind out of this Midwest winter and be able to feel that warmth. And so I chose colors and vibrancy and kind of let that lead everything. So day 10 was super fun because we got to do collage and play with really vibrant colors. If you can't tell already, I'm kind of a color girl. I don't do a whole lot that's muted, except for this day 11, which I also really enjoyed, I'd have to say. But I do have my pops of color on there. Day 11 was to use color to gently shift your mood. And so this was a wonderful meditation on putting down shapes and color and using transparency. And I'd have to say it does have quite a happy palette, and it really was transitional to my mood that day. So highly recommend. And then day 12, I think is over here, yes, is to add a pop of color where it feels unexpected. And so this was definitely one that was so fun to just create marks that, you just kind of let the mark live, right where it is. Don't blend it out, just allow it to be. And so these little blobs of color, pops of color and unexpected colors, the teals and the fluorescent pinks, and the vibrant yellows that took place on this all kind of mix together and make this very splash of color. But I love it. Let's turn back to day 13. Day 13 was a challenge for me, but so the prompt was choose a color you usually resist to begin. And for me, that was most definitely black. I'm curious what your no colors are. But for me, it was black. And so this was a little bit challenging for me, and I really had to work very differently. But I think in that, I learned a lot. And I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about just trying things that are new, things that may not feel comfortable at first, but at least I tried it on. Even if I don't, embrace black into everything that I'm doing now, at least it's something that I was brave and I was bold and I tried it. Let's see what else. Day 14 was our lovely Valentine's Day. And so we got to celebrate through creating a vase that tells a story. And with that one, it really was an opportunity to write down some sort of story. So we were using a lot of mixed media, handwriting, collage, and creating some elements that knit beautifully together to tell a story. For me, it was my love for my husband. For you, it could have been how much you love cereal in the morning. I don't know. I don't know what it would be. But it's just a really beautiful way to be able to communicate. And I think that that's what art does so well, is that you really can become like a wonderful storyteller. And sometimes colors speak more loudly than our words do. It just resonates with people. And then lastly was day 15, which I guess is slightly over half. We're kind of over that hump into the next part of the month. But this one was to paint without brushes. And for this one, it really I don't know if you guys can see this after it's dried, but it has such juicy texture and wonderful colors. And it really was just so fun to just try to paint without brushes. You really get a very different feel. It's more high energy, it's more layered and textured, and just really, I think, spoke to me yesterday when I was creating it. Sorry, I keep hitting my mic. But anyway, I hope you had fun with that. I hope you had fun doing a little search and find too around the house, just finding some tools that might help you along your way. So I'd be curious too, share with me please, did you use something totally wacky to be able to paint with? I am curious, so let me know.